So in this video, I'm first going to be breaking down whether Solskjaer's record at Manchester United is good enough, the problems with Solskjaer as manager, why Ole may not be the man to take Manchester United forward, and what will ultimately happen in my opinion if Ole stays. Before at the end I give my overall verdict on whether I am Ole in or Ole out. But before I get into that, remember to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications, as I will be releasing more Manchester United videos, including an analysis of what Zidane would be like as Manchester United manager, what Erik ten Hag would be like as Manchester United manager, and maybe some other candidates as well if you put them in the comment section below. Also check out some of my other videos, including my video on how to make Martial great again, my video looking at Antonio Conte at Manchester United, and my video breaking down the attacking movements and patterns of play that United could employ to drastically improve their attack with the same personnel. So let's start off by first looking at Ole's record and seeing if that suggests that he does need to be sacked. So it does seem like in every season Solskjaer's Manchester United go through this period of bad form where it looks like it could be the end for Solskjaer. In Ole's first season, after he came in to replace Mourinho halfway through the season, United went on an outstanding run of form until around March time when they completely fell apart. They won just 2 of the last 9 Premier League games, losing to teams like Everton 4-0, lost to Arsenal and Wolves in the FA Cup and in the Premier League as well. And had Ole already not been appointed full-time manager, he may have not got the job at all after this run of form. In his first full season in 2019-20, United went for a terrible run of form around October to November, where they lost against teams like Newcastle, Bournemouth and drew to teams like Villa and Sheffield United, but Solskjaer eventually dug himself out of this rut with wins against Tottenham and Manchester City later on in that period. And by the end of his first season, United and Solskjaer had probably performed on par with what would be expected of them, finishing in 3rd place with 66 points. Last season they started off terribly, losing to Palace on the opening day of the season, and then losing to Tottenham 6-1 at home. But eventually as autumn came, United picked up results and ended up in a kind of title race until around about January-February when they fell away. They did eventually get 2nd place, but well off Manchester City and weren't even in the title race. But every time United go for a bad run of form where it looks like Solskjaer's job is tinkering on the edge, the side manages to pull a big performance out of the bag and eventually save Solskjaer's job, and the run continues to where it actually looks like Solskjaer and United may have turned a corner. And if you look at where United were when Solskjaer took over, I think you have to say that he has done a good job taking United in the right direction. The problem is he the man to then take them to the next level to be competing for the Premier League and Champions League? Whilst I do have some problems with Solskjaer as a manager, I think it's only fair that I praise his strengths. I think when pressing in the final third against the opposition during their build-up phase, United look very good, and I think this is one of Solskjaer's strong points. Also, when United play against the side who are going to dominate possession, they are very good in the transition, being able to counter, and if you look at Solskjaer's big game record, it is quite impressive, with wins against Manchester City and PSG as examples. But I do have 3 main problems with Ole as United manager. The first is what I discussed in the video I released a few days ago about United's attacking patterns and how to improve them. I won't go into that much because you can watch that video where I go over it in more depth. But that is one of my concerns I have with Ole, United's ability to break down deep defensive units, and in this video I discuss why this is the problem and how Solskjaer can fix it, so make sure you check out that video after this video. But my second point is stopping the counter-attacks through the centre of the pitch, which occurs when United lose a ball high up the pitch, and it's usually when Fred and McTominay are playing in central midfield, or Fred and Pogba in central midfield, as against direct dynamic ball carriers like Alan Saint-Maximin, Adama Traore or Demarai Gray, United have really struggled with Fred getting dribbled past far too easily in the centre of the pitch and Pogba not being a ball winner either, so United definitely need to be looking for a ball winning central midfielder in the January transfer window. There is a tactical solution that I could see Solskjaer making, but I will make a separate video about that because it will be too in depth for this video, so make sure you click the bell so you get notified when that video comes out. And the third problem I have with Ole is his lack of tactical flexibility, which you can see as he seems to always line up his side in a 4-2-3-1 system that becomes a 2-4-3-1 in possession against whichever side he seems to play against, which makes United very predictable, and sides know exactly what to do when they come up against United. They simply close off the space in the centre of the pitch and force United out wide to the fullbacks, where there's a lack of movement, and this is why we ultimately see United a lot having 0-0 draws, winning maybe games by the odd goal, but even losing them as well, as we saw against Villa. So this is definitely a problem that Solskjaer has, and it's running throughout his career. It's been going on for at least 2 seasons now, and it doesn't show any signs of developing into a solution that I could see taking United to the next level. People do criticise Solskjaer for not making substitutions early enough throughout games, but a bigger problem is his lack of tactical flexibility, as sometimes it's not the personnel on the pitch but the system being used, and that's why United aren't breaking down a side and simply changing players but retaining the same system and roles being used is not actually going to help United. It just looks like it will because it seems like a change should do something, but Solskjaer needs to be changing system a lot more than he should be changing players. The reason he doesn't use Van der Beek very often is because he sticks with this 4-2-3-1 system that becomes a 2-4-3-1, as I have said, and so he has Fernandes and Pogba in those creative roles, and if United need a goal, he's not going to take off one of those for Van der Beek, so Van der Beek simply doesn't come on, whereas if he changed system, a new role would open up for players like Martial and Van der Beek to come onto the pitch, and therefore we would see those players playing more prominent roles in United's side. And all of these factors play into why I think Ole may not be the man to take Manchester United forward, as if we particularly look at knockout games such as against Sevilla in the Europa League semi-final of 2020, against RB Leipzig and Barcelona in the Champions League, and in the final of the Europa League last season against Villarreal, we can see that Solskjaer's lack of tactical flexibility and ability to change his side to suit the opposition is costing United when it gets to the back end of the season. And because these problems are recurring themes throughout his tenure at United over the past 2 seasons, I now have changed my mind and I don't think Solskjaer is going to adapt and improve his tactical flexibility and style of play, and so if I was making a decision, I would actually make the decision to sack Ole now, and this is why. A lot of people, in particular pundits, seem to base their opinion on whether a manager deserves to get sacked based solely on their results. So if Solskjaer has lost X amount of games, finished in X position, won this amount of games, got this amount of points, then Solskjaer should be either kept as Manchester United manager or sacked. If you only look at league position and points, United have actually done pretty well, finishing 2nd and 3rd in the last 2 seasons, which does suggest that maybe Solskjaer should keep his job. United also got to the Europa League semi-final in 2019-20 and the final in 2021, so a lot of people will say just by looking at the results he should at least be given more time and not sacked right now. However, this is a hugely problematic way of coming to a conclusion of whether a manager should be sacked. By sacking a manager, you are either saying that the results have been so bad beforehand that it doesn't warrant him keeping his job, but I would look at it as sacking a manager is basically saying that this manager isn't the man to take the club forward in the future. It's not necessarily saying that they've done a bad job as manager, but they haven't impressed enough to give you the confidence that they will be the person to achieve your goals and aims. And this is the problem with Solskjaer. See, the Glazers and the board at United, their aims are different to the fans. They don't necessarily want to be competing for the Premier League and Champions League every single season. They simply want to be in the Champions League and around there to keep the fans happy, to simply keep the money making machine at Manchester United churning. So whilst Solskjaer doesn't mean the footballing aims of the club, he definitely meets the financial aims at the moment, which is why until United start to have a drastic drop in form, Solskjaer's job is not under threat. But the reason I would sack Solskjaer from a footballing point of view is that this United squad is coming into its prime. Players like Pogba, Fernandes, Varane are all approaching their late 20s, and United may only have Ronaldo at this current level for this season and next season, so United can't be waiting around building a squad for the next 3 to 5 years. They need to be trying to win the Premier League, if not this season, definitely the season after. Whilst United do have young talents like Sancho and Greenwood in the side, United's squad is not full of young talents that are going to peak in the next, say, 6 or 7 years. It's full of players who are coming to their peak now, and United need to take advantage of this. If Solskjaer were to stay, I could easily see United maybe finishing 2nd or 3rd this season, and 2nd or 3rd the season after, and then deteriorating because the squad ages and their best players like Ronaldo or Pogba eventually leave the club, and players like Fernandes and Varane hit a decline and move away from their peak, and then United will have to then rebuild the squad again for another 3 to 5 years, say, and you end up in a cycle where you never actually get to compete for the trophies that you say you are at the start of a tenure. You simply end up rebuilding and rebuilding, going around in a circle and never actually achieving what you set out to achieve. And that's why I think United's next manager has to be a manager who's capable of winning the Premier League and Champions League within the next 2 to 3 seasons. It can't be another rebuild job, because this will just deteriorate United's squad over time, and United will fall into the trap of what Liverpool fell into in the late 90s and early 2000s, where they fall out of that elite club bracket. I will be doing a whole series looking at different managers who I think could come into Manchester United, analysing the pros and cons. I've already done that video on Antonio Conte, as well as a video looking at how United can improve from a tactical perspective in the attack. So I'll leave all of those Manchester United analysis videos linked in a playlist, so you can check out the ones that you've missed. In the description below, it will be at the top. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, click the bell for notifications, give the video a like, put your thoughts in the comment section below, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter for more content as well.